After annihilation, the Lord is the reservoir of everything. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuru-unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathandvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaura Tvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Nikunjaras Prabhu, wish you happy Krishna conscious birthday. It's really wonderful and great honor to be as associate of you. It's so nice, such a wonderful devotee. Thank you very much for everything.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you for your blessings.
Let us chant 3 times Hari Bol for Nikunjas Prabhu in our traditional way to wish him happy Krishna conscious birthday. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Thank you, Puja Mataji and Shri Badrayani Prabhu for all the Vaishnavas' blessings and wishes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, everyone, for making my day. Devotee's blessing, nothing more than that, what I've expected today. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Jai. So, as we are discussing today, as you are all following already, just for my understanding, I'll just reiterate. As the King Chitraketu's son left his body, as King Chitraketu was lamenting along with his wife, and other wives, as they are acting like crying, Narada Muni and Angira Muni, they appeared onto the scene. And Narada Muni, by his mystic power, he brings back the living entity into the body. And the boy spoke so many words. So after that, the queens, they understood what ghastly mistake or sinful activity they have performed. So they went to the bank of Mother Yamuna and bathed, and they atone their sinful activities, all of them. So the King Chitraketu, after hearing from Narada Muni and Angira Muni, from the boy, then he lost interest in any material gains in this material world. He goes on to the banks of Yamuna and he bathes. Narada Muni was so pleased with him and he starts instructing King Chitraketu. So today's verse is one of the instructions Narada Muni is giving it to King Chitraketu in the process of instruction. So Narada Muni is explaining about the situation or about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So that he talks about in this, he gives an example, just like the pots are made from mud, the mud comes from the earth. And then once they're used, and after using those pots, and again they are going to merge into the earth itself. So the Mother Earth provides the mud, and then that mud is made into the pot, transforms into something else. But then finally at the end, it again transforms into earth when they are either broken or once they are done their activities. The same way, Narada Muni explains that the entire cosmic manifestation is actually caused by the Supreme Personality, and then that remains, and then at the end, this also being annihilated into him. So which we can see in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana. So Krishna is the cause of everything. Now, according to Srimad Bhagvatam, when we understand, so Krishna expands himself as Balaram, and from Balaram comes the quadruple expansion. That is Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudev, Sankarshana. And then from Sankarshana appears Narayana, and from Narayana appears again a quadruple expansion. That is again Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudev. And from that Sankarshan appears Mahavishnu. And this Mahavishnu is lying down on the ocean, Karunodakshai ocean, and Mahavishnu. And from his body emanates so many universes. Millions and billions of universes emanates from his body. And he enters into each and every universe as Vishnu. Name of that Vishnu is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So in Sanskrit, Garbha that means the womb. In Telugu language, in my language, we call it as a Garbhavati. If somebody is pregnant, she is known as Garbhavati. Like as recently I was hearing one of the talk, not a devotee, he explains how Sanskrit is well kept. Sanskrit kept well in the southern part of India. Most of the languages are 60 to 70% or 60 to 80% is Sanskrit in those languages. in southern part of India. So Telugu, I see almost around 60 to 70% or 80% is Sanskrit. So Garbhavati means the womb, who is carrying living entity in her womb. She is known as a Garbhavati. So the Garbha is nothing but the womb within the womb. So Vishnu enters into the Garbha of a universe. That's why he is known as a Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And within that universe, then comes from his navel the Kamal, lotus, and that lotus is Lord Brahma, and the stem of the lotus contains the 14 planets. So that's how the whole universe is appeared. This is one universe. So like this, there are billions and billions of universes. It says that these universes is actually all of these universes is carried by Ananta Shesha. How are these universes? How he is carrying? He is carrying these universes just like a bag of mustard seeds. These universes. And these universes, they are emanating from the body of Mahavishnu as he is inhaling and exhaling. When he is exhaling, then, or when he is inhaling, all these universes are going back into him. That means these universes are manifested and then they are unmanifested. In other way also we can see this. The material nature is, according to Srimad Bhagvatam, is considered as a pradhan. The pradhan by in itself is not functioning as such. But then when Mahavishnu looks at this pradhan, and just by his eyesight, this Mahavishnu agitates pradhan and impregnates pradhan. These topics can be, looks like it's going above our imagination, above our understanding. Lord Brahma, he mentions in Brahma Samhita, Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti, pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti, Ananda chinmaya sadujjvala vigrahasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. He says, Angani yasya sakala indriya. Anga means part of the body. So we have different parts in the body. Different parts of the body have different functions. Vritti. Vritti means functions, different functions. The same word we can see again in Telugu. The vritti means if somebody is performing certain activity, like the vritti of me is a preacher. The vritti of Nikunjaras Prabhu is the software engineer. The vritti of a carpenter is to make wooden things. From the wood, he prepares something. The vritti of a blacksmith is to make iron, raw iron or iron, into certain devices so that can be used in performing certain activity, either knife or axe or so many things which he can make it. That is the blacksmith. The goldsmith vritti is to make golden ornaments. So the vritti of each and every limb in this body have a different functionality. The hands, they hold, the legs, they walk. But here Lord Brahma, what he's saying is Angani yasya sakala indriya. So each and every limb of body of Mahavishnu or Krishna can perform activities of all other limbs. Angani yasya sakala indriya, all parts of the body. So one part of the body can perform activities of all other parts of the body. What does that mean? That means Krishna's eyes can hold, can walk, or can eat, can hear, can do all the activities of other limbs. Same thing is with others. Krishna's ears can see, Krishna's ears can walk, Krishna's ears can hold things. So like this. So that's the reason when we offer bhoga to Krishna or Vishnu, it's not necessary for Krishna to sit and eat like that, like us. Because of our material body, we have to do that activity. Whereas Krishna need not to do it. Just by seeing it, Krishna can eat it. Because eyes also can perform the activities of a mouth. That's what Lord Brahma is talking about. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. So, Lord Vishnu, just by seeing the Pradhan, he can impregnate Pradhan. It's not necessary like all the human beings or all the material living entities, they have to perform the sexual intercourse activity to produce some living entity, to produce the other living entity. There is a process for it. Vishnu do not do that. Just by looking at Pradhan, he can agitate Pradhan or he can impregnate Pradhan. So, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, when the Vishnu looks at a Pradhan, Pradhan gets agitated and then impregnates Pradhan with the living entities, and that's how the Pradhan is manifests into Prakriti, and then from the Prakriti are produced so many living entities of different nature as such. Some of them are animals, some of them are humans, some of them are birds, some of them are reptiles, some of them are so many things. Birds and water, living entities in the water. There's so many ways is produced. That's why we call Mother Nature. Mother, she is the mother, and Vishnu is the father. Father is the one who gives the seed. And that's again, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, that is when we see text chapter 14 and text number 4. Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapitaha. So there Krishna is telling all species of life are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. So here we can see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is clearly telling that he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he is the original father for all the living entities. So when we go to see the living entities, we are also the living entities. We are all made up of matter as well as spirit. We are not fully matter, we are not fully spirit at this point of time. We are mix of matter and spirit. And this matter and spirit, actually, they never go well together. Just like oil and water cannot mix well. Under special circumstances, they can be mixed Otherwise, in general, it is not possible. So the soul, which is basically the spiritual living entity, which is the spiritual, when it comes to the material world, and since it has to live in this material world, and there is some suit is provided, just like when we go into the space, we cannot live in space with the same body. So we wear some space suit, which will withstand the conditions in the space. Similarly, when the spirit soul comes to this material world, on its own, it cannot live. Whereas in the spiritual world, the spirit soul can live because that is its a home. Here on earth, we can live nicely. We need not to really take any special precautions. But when we enter into water, we need oxygen. That is not possible. We cannot live in water. So we need to have that certain kind of a suit where we can go into the water. Though similarly, the soul is given certain kind of a suit. So there are 8.4 millions of suits available in this material world. So the soul accepts one of the suit, and that's how the soul is living in this material world as a living entity. Otherwise, as such, the soul, it is so difficult to live on this in this material world as such. So somehow the spirit and the matter, they try to be with each other, just like at the wife and husband. It is quite difficult with the nature of both of them, as a woman, as a man. It will never actually matches with each other. It is never. Now, at least the reason they are staying together is because of one thing, that is the attraction towards each other. That is the one thing which is a common between both of them. Otherwise, the nature of a woman and nature of a man are totally different. It is so difficult. That's where you find most of the times, or many times, or sometimes, depending upon the amount of attraction between each other, there is fights. They keep happening because of this nature as such. It's so much differences in their nature as such. But then slowly this attraction turns into the love, and then as even when they get old, even though there is no attraction, but that attraction develops into love, and because of that love, they could stay and they could remain together even when they get old. Similarly, the spirit soul and as well as this material body, they live together somehow or other, trying to adjust. Like it says that in the fish lives in the water. Whatever you do, taking the fish out, whatever you do, you give fish so many facilities, the fish will not be happy on the earth unless otherwise you leave the fish back into the water and it will keep struggling. In the same way, the soul, even though in this material world, even though in this material body, is struggling so much, the only way the soul will be happy is that once you go back to the spiritual world, because that is the place the soul lives, and then till the time the soul is struggling and struggling and struggling, continues to struggle in this material world. So the living entities appears from Mother Nature through the Father, who is, as Krishna is talking about in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Bija Praja Pradapitaha. So he is the one who is giving the seed for everything, all the living entities in this material world. So when this material world is created, and then it's like when we talk about this Srila Prabhupada talks about in the purports it gives in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita also. There are the 6 transformations for the living entity. Living entity takes birth and then grows and then maintains and then produces byproducts and then slowly dwindles and then finally it disappears. So these are the 6 transformations that living entity go through. The 6 transformations are common in the whole material world. It is there, all the 6 transformations. So even that is for Prakriti also. Maybe Prakriti is not like Prakriti is not material, just like a soul. It is also the spiritual Prakriti also. So Prakriti is manifests and then unmanifests, just like a living entity manifests and as well as unmanifests. Living entity in sense the soul. And till the soul goes back to the spiritual world, it keeps manifesting as well as unmanifesting. It takes birth into this material world, that is birth again into this material body, and then all the 6 transformations. And when this material body, when the soul leaves this material body, and depending upon the plan of Lord Vishnu, or depending upon the plan of the Mother Prakriti or Providence, either soul goes back into the unmanifested stage or takes birth into the other bodies. So it continues this one till the soul goes back to the spiritual world. The same way, this Prakriti also, it manifests and then at some point of time it unmanifests and then goes back into the unmanifested stage till again Lord Vishnu looks at the Pradhan and then agitates the Pradhan and then again transforms into this beautiful material world, and then the creation starts and then maintains for some time, and then finally again it goes back into the Lord Vishnu. So again, this we can see when Lord Vishnu is inhaling and exhaling. So that's how the universes are created, and then the universes are again annihilated. The living entities are manifested and then again unmanifested. And that's what here Narada Muni is explaining to King Chitraketu. That is how the entire cosmic manifestation is manifested from Lord Vishnu and then maintains for some time and then again annihilates. Lord Vishnu annihilates, that is again goes back into this material, goes back into unmanifested stage. And again this unmanifestation, there are many ways we can talk about unmanifestation. We can call that as Lord Shiva. When he appears, when Lord Shiva at the time of annihilation, then he does this Tandavan Nritya, and then Shiva is the one who is the destroyer of this entire creation, and that's how the unmanifestation happens. So then again we go back into the body of Mahavishnu and then remain there for some time and then again come out. And this is how it happens. The breathing, exhaling and inhaling. And that's what here Narada Muni is explaining. So I'll stop here and then see if anybody is having any questions or comments. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
It was very wonderful and nectarian class to hear. As always, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay. Then I guess we can end here. Puja Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for your nectarian class, Prabhuji. If nobody has any question or comment, then we can end the call here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, such a beautiful class.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
I don't have any question, but your classes are always very informative and in details. Thank you, Prabhuji. So you did only one verse, right, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We have
Okay.
some time, Prabhuji, if you want to give some more on Gita Jayanti. Tomorrow is Gita Jayanti, so.
No, tomorrow, day after tomorrow.
No, it's 22nd, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. No, Mataji, I have some hard stop. I need to have some other activities to perform today.
Oh, yes, Prabhuji, you are in temple.
Yes, next time we can discuss for sure.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you. Puja Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, so we can end the call here. Vancha kalpatrubhisya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnavind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, His Grace Shri Badrayani Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your association.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.